you.
Big
When did you start like getting in the kitchen and stuff?
So cute.
Science.
Can I put tapatio?
If you want to, you can put tapatio.
Tapatio.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And I just wet one side, right? And then you just seal it. I'm gonna try to make sure there's not really air in there, whatnot, and just seal it, and then that's it.
I thought this was like super hard.
Yeah. A lot of these, I mean, the ones from even Din Tai Fung, those are not hard.
Never seen Sandra like this in the kitchen.
Are you kidding me?
I've never seen you in the kitchen all these years. Like you
You've
don't
never
like
seen me
cooking.
in surgery either. Cheers to besties. Raquel and I are not actual sisters, but believe it or not, people say that about us often, which is so strange.
So weird. But you know what? We are sisters.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Anyway, on that note, we really decided today to bring in a dish that means a lot to us from our culture. But let's start with you.
Okay, so I brought something that reminds me of my childhood, and this is called cueritos.
De cueritos.
No, cueritos.
Cueritos.
Cueritos, and it's
Cueritos.
pigskin.
Cueritos.
So growing up, whenever you went to a family party or a gathering, you always saw this at the table, and you know, had your toothpick. My mouth is like watering right now.
Does it taste like
It tastes
pig?
it
Like
tastes
we don't
amazing.
know it's a pig? Or
I
is it like pickled,
I think
or
it's
is it
pickled. To
is it
me,
cold?
it's my most favorite. It's cold, and it's pickled with vinegar and so on. And then I put lemon, and you can put
jalapenos? I see
different
in
things
too.
in it. But this is the way like my mom prepared it.
Is this cooked?
This is
Or
not
just
cooked.
pickled?
Pickled.
Oh, it's not cooked. What are you doing?
It is
to
so
me?
good. Watch it. Look.
But you can get like tapeworms and stuff from pigs, like uncooked pork.
So good. Go.
Okay, I'm gonna have this beautiful.
No,
piece.
that's a cucumber. Okay, now you need to have the pigs. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to pick out a nice piece.
Do it with the hot tahini. My mouth is watering because it's so delicious to
Okay,
me.
I'm just gonna do it because I love you and I trust you. I know. Okay, I know.
You
I know. I know.
Put it in your mouth. Do it, Sandra.
I'm going to. Just give me a minute.
What the heck? It's like you're like defending me. Stupid.
Oh. Oh.
It's good. Come on.
It's a texture thing. I mean, it's pickled. It tastes like gelatinous, like jellyfish. Does not taste like pigskin at all. I mean, look, you grew up with it. I'm not insulting it. I think it's great, but it's just not my thing. I don't like that texture thing.
So good. For my, culture, and I'm assuming for like all Mexicans out there, like this is so normal, and this is a traditional. This is like actually like very delicious. But I did grow up with this since I was.
That's so nice. Thank you for showing that to me
You
too and
didn't
sharing
really
with
like
me.
it.
I mean, it's a taste you gotta acquire. You gotta acquire over time, I think. It's raw pig skin, and that already gets in my mind.
Okay.
But otherwise, it was very good. I'm sorry, I don't want
I love you. I don't care.
Okay, I have something that's cooked, but is also porked. Okay, but it's cooked. It's pot stickers, and I kind of mess them up because I'm not the greatest cook here.
She
but
actually
they
was in
are
the
with
kitchen. I've
gyoza
never
wrappers.
seen her.
It's this pork with like sesame oil and soy sauce and a couple little spices.
I'm very proud of
and
you for doing
they
this.
and they broke up. Sorry, because I used her pan.
No,
But,
because she doesn't. I
but
don't
they
really
are
think she
really
knows what
good.
she's doing. That's why.
Maybe. I'm gonna use a little chili sauce here too.
Look at this.
But they're really good.
I'm
Cheers.
so proud
Cheers.
of you. Cheers.
Whatever. What are you
I've
talking
never
about?
seen you in the kitchen.
I mean, come on. That's good too. It's like noodles on the outside wrapped in
It's
pork.
good. It's amazing.
It's good.
It's really good.
And my mom made it. Thank you, Mom.
Mama Lee,
Yes. And these are this
I'm
is like
keeping
an
the rest.
appetizer we have all the time.
you see, I love your food.
Yes, I love your food too. Just not raw pigskin. So today we're going to talk about the use of fillers. So fillers are different than Botox. They're both injectables, but they work in different ways. Fillers are in general different kinds of products that we use to really fill in lines, okay? The most popular ingredient to be used is hyaluronic acid. It's in Juvederm and Restylane and a bunch of other newer brands. And then we have other ones that are a little bit less common. Hyaluronic acid fillers are the most popular because they are sort of the ones with the least reason to have an allergic reaction, because it is a normal constituent in our skin, like hyaluronic acid is. There is sort of a, I call it a get out of jail card, because there is actually an enzyme you can inject, like a liquid that will dissolve it.
What is it called? What is it?
Hyaluronidase, it's called.
Okay.
So it's just, DASE is the enzyme that will break down hyaluronic acid. So anywhere that you inject it, it sort of like dissolves it in general. And it, I mean, you know, it may dissolve it somewhat completely. It's complicated.
So if someone was to go see a dermatologist to go get this filler, what would they ask for? Like, what is the name? Is it?
Well, usually you really rely on the doctor to really tell you which ones they recommend, because there's just really a lot of nuances. There's different generations of them, where the first ones were just, you know, a certain kind of hyaluronic acid. There was one that was thick and there was one that was thicker. Now they sort of have these different things, we call it G prime, where they're more dense but flexible. So like, it's just, they've gotten a little bit more refined. So there's some that we will put in different areas, because sometimes we just want a lot of volume and we want it to stay in the same place. If you'll see it and we squeeze it out onto the table, it kind of sticks together and stays into its same place. So that's what you want to do when you want to do something with a lot of volume, like you want to put it in your cheeks to kind of lift up, okay? But something that around your lips, you want it to be a little thinner but a lot more flexible. You don't want it to be stiff, so that when you move your lips, you just see it moving. So there's just different ones. There's Refine, there's Define, there's Kiss, there's Lift, there's Ultra, there's Ultra Plus, there's Voluma, there's Velour. There's just so many different ones. Yeah. And you really need to rely on the doctor that is going to help to advise you the best course of action. But I think the nice thing again is that they're all sort of reversible in many ways, you know. I think what's interesting for people to understand is, in the past, we would try to like soften these lines that might be etched in your lips. But if you just like a little pull and it doesn't go away, a filler is not going to eliminate that, because only if you stretch it this much, like really hard, does it make it go away. Can you imagine how much you'd have to fill your lip to make it stretch to that level? So there's a give and take. You don't want to look ridiculous, you know? Right. So you have to like sort of understand that, and you can look in the mirror and you can say like, is this line gonna go away with just a little subtle pulling? Because that will make it look natural and not make it look crazy. And we really filled in different ways than we do now. It's like the most commonplace, or where it was approved for, is the nasal labial fold, which is here. And so people were trying to fill in the lines around their lips. They were trying to fill in any kind of line on their face, lines that people might have over here. It doesn't really work that way. Over time, we really figured out it works a little bit differently. I mean, it works to fill in lines, but you're really trying to sort of change subtly the shape of your face. That's where it works the best. So when we do it with you, I do it just a little bit to soften on your nose, to kind of straighten a little the bridge of your nose, which
So I get asked about fillers all the time, and what I think about, you know, them. It took me a while to warm up to it, and finally she convinced me.
Right, but I don't try to convince you per se. You know what I mean? Like,
you were
but
just,
I suggested it.
I mean, but
like
you know,
to try it out because you're curious.
But yeah.
Yes.
So I have like this little bump here, and then it just made it like really like straight, and I was like obsessed. And now I get it done like probably every 2 years, every year.
Yeah, you don't do it that often.
What do you call it? You call it something
like a non-surgical nose job, or non-surgical rhinoplasty.
I mean,
liquid. We also call them liquid facelifts. The nose is more like a advanced move, I like to say. It's probably the most common places that people put it is on their nasal labial folds, or into their lips. People like to give their lips a little substance, or even in their cheeks to kind of subtly kind of give us this upside down triangle look, because over time we sort of get straight and we get a little wider here.
So I love it, but I do think that when people start doing it in other places, like some people start on their cheek, and the first time they do it, they look great. And then I'll see them like 3 years later, and then they just get like really like more and more. And I don't know if it's because they feel they need more, or I don't know if filler, once you use it, it just requires you to have more filler. I'm a little, you know, skeptical about that.
When you see people that look crazy, that's a person who does it more to the extreme and has been doing it over time. And there are a lot of people that have filler done, myself included. I've had filler here and there. I don't do it a lot, and you don't necessarily know that they had it done. And that's really the trick, you know? And I think even some dermatologists, they can go too far because they're with it, they're using it all the time, and it builds up and they can look crazy too. In fact, at work, we all have like a pact where like, you promise you're gonna tell me. Like, you're gonna tell me if I look crazy. So that's all really important to sort of have that pact with people too. Like, I also use the example, sometimes people will look at these folds and they'll go, can you get rid of them completely? I always make sure people understand that why you can't get rid of them completely. Or if you try to, maybe you can, but it will look ridiculous. If you look back at the early years of Real Housewives of OC and you see some of those women that have this done, it's not like they have this really prominent fold here, but they have a really wide one. It's like they look like the Joker, like their cheekbone doesn't start till like way out here. It's because they put so much filler here that you sort of just like lifted that whole area, but it doesn't lift up. It just widens, right? And then sometimes you'll see people that look like they just have their features like pushed into their face. Like their face looks like puffy and swollen. That's because they have had a lot of filler over time and it somewhat attracts water. It's what we call hydrophilic. So over time, if you do a lot of it, it sort of makes your face very swollen or like a doughboy, we call it, you know, a little bit. Yes, so you don't want to overdo it, but a little bit here and there is okay. Filler migration, that's like a hot topic, like on social media. I mean, I don't know if I personally completely agree with the definition of it. I feel like people are saying that it moves. I mean, it's not like you can move it from your lip to your, you know, forehead or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, there can be maybe a little spreading, maybe just from the movement of your mouth and how you work it. Your muscles are gonna push it to a side, but it also just could be the fluid that is being attracted to the area. It's making it a little more swollen, or those areas were sort of injected, you know, and the thing can change a little bit. It can move a little bit just from the massage of your lips. So I think that there's some truth to that, but I also think it's probably because people are a little bit overdoing it, you know? They need to back off on that, and some people will try to dissolve it and start all over again, and you know, it might do that again over time.
When is too young to start getting fillers?
It just depends. Some people who are 60, they don't need filler, and some people who are like in their 20s, they might have a deeper line that would respond well to filler. I wouldn't really give filler to people who are under 18. As a non-adult, you should get the consent of an adult to be able to do this. But a lot of youngsters, sometimes they've been attracted to getting their lips done, and that is something that maybe some providers might do, but I really try to stay away from that. And that can happen under your eyes.
Underneath the eye. I know you're not a big fan about under eye filler, because I did ask her to do that for me. And I'm like, no. And she was like, no. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, so I was around too when people were starting to do a lot of under eye filler, and I was doing a good amount of it, but I will say that the people who did it a lot early on, we started to see issues with it, because what happens is this skin is super thin. And if you're injecting under there and you're injecting a product that attracts water too, and if you overdo it, it just, it looks really great, but actually months later, it starts to like attract water, your own fluid. So it's like you kind of have fluid retention there. And you get this slightly, it's called the Tyndall effect. And it's when you have a bluish kind of color to the area. So it almost looks like people are a little waterlogged. Like you can spot it as a dermatologist. Sometimes they'll come in and they'll say, I have these bags under my eyes, but I'll say, have you had filler there? Because you can see it looks different. It's almost like they have like extra fluid there. Okay. And so it's not great to do all the time, because I will treat some people because they have a specific reason to have it treated. You get these tear troughs or this little depression there. So I usually will treat somebody and not even tell them that I'm gonna do anything with it for at least a year or more. And then there's a limit to it too. Like I'll do it a couple times and say, I'm not doing it anymore for quite a while. So it's better to undertreat those areas. My kind of angle and how I treat people is less is more. I used to do a lot more, like 2 syringes, 3 syringes. Some people do 6 syringes, which is ridiculous to me. I will do maximum, really usually 2. Most of the time it's 1. And then I just add to it, because that also makes it look more natural, you know?
But I also love that you're very conservative with your Botox and your filler. And I think that's why, I mean, you look gorgeous and no one can believe your age. You've taught me that you age gracefully, and obviously we're never gonna look like we did when we were 20.
But you look fabulous yourself, you know what I mean? So
you look fabulous. It's, you know, thanks to you too, but you really taught me that it's like there's things we can do. You're very conservative with it, and everyone you treat that I know is like looks so natural and so nice.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You want to do that kind of thing because you just want to feel good about yourself. That's really what it's all about. And also, there's a fine line. There are people that have body dysmorphia, and we see a lot of that. People want those big lips. They want that sort of look, and it makes them feel better. And honestly, like, I will try to give my recommendations. I will tell them truthfully what I say, but if they're adamant and they really want something and it's not me doing something bad to them or hurting them, I mean, if it makes them feel happy, like, and it's not hurting anybody, and more power to them. But obviously, I think that a lot of people that want something really extravagant that I don't really love, they'll probably eventually move away from me and find somebody else because maybe I won't be doing all the things that they are looking for. Honestly, if you think about the business side, it's actually the better business model because people sometimes will try to upsell. You know, you get somebody in the office and you try to like sell them on something else. I am not that at all. Like, I don't care if you don't do anything. Like, I'd rather you be happy and not do anything than me try to tell you to do something and then you don't like it or something. Sometimes people will ask, what do you think I should do? And I never answer that. Like, I hate answering that question because I would never want to tell somebody, oh, well, your eyes are the thing. And then what if that's like their favorite feature? Yeah. Like, you could devastate them. So I always say, like, what is it that you don't like? And if I think I can do something about it, I will give you a recommendation or give you a recommendation to another doctor or let you know if something can be done with it. So that's the inside scoop on filler. Certainly if you have any other questions,
Comment below.
Yes.
Leave us all your comments.
I do like massages now, but I don't like doing facials. I don't like getting my nails done. I don't like getting my hair done.
You like getting your nails done? You always have your nails done.
And especially my hair, like 3 hours, I feel like I'm gonna go bonkers. But I'm waiting for you. This will be super fast.
Yay!
I got my gear on. Okay, what do I do?
So we're gonna make Dr. Pimple Popper relax and shut up.
Why can't I talk? What are you gonna do? What is this?
I'm gonna do a jelly mask on you. So when you go to the event today, you will be super, super hydrated and glowy and just radiant. And it's actually gonna make you relax.
We're gonna leave my eye makeup on.
So I know you have an event going on, so I'm gonna leave your eye makeup on and I'm not gonna go over your eyes.
But you're obviously gonna cover my mouth because that's your favorite part.
I'm gonna cover your mouth because we need you to shut up and stop bossing people around.
Sounds disgusting.
Really?
Yes.
It smells delicious. Smell it.
No. I swear to God, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Hey, I'm in charge here. We're not talking about fillers and Botox right now. We're talking about jelly masks.
So, let me see. What kind of story can I tell? One time early on, this was one of the first parties that we realized what a crazy girlfriend we had, Tina, when she has too much money. She has too much money when she has too much alcohol. Because I had a 70s bunker party, and we had games, and we all dressed up. Like, I had a thong, you know, like, actually it was the 80s.
Oh, it's cold, by the way. You already know this.
Now I can't even tell the story.
Why?
Anyways, we had this, and I was wearing like iridescent, I think, silver tights and a leg warmer thingies, like I was working out, you know, like Jane Fonda. You had on a little wig, and we were like, we started twerking upside down, remember?
Yeah.
Tina got messed up. And so we have this lobster.
Sandra, you act like this is the first time.
It's like having a cold. Where are you going? Where are you going? You better warn me, because I tell people where I'm going. I don't just surprise them. Oh, I feel it dripping down.
No, you don't, Sandra. Relax and keep saying the story. And then we have this lobster pot, and she was throwing
up in it, and we engraved our name in the lobster pot. So anytime someone throws up, and for the record, I'm one of the only ones that doesn't have my name engraved in the pot.
Because she's a cheater, and she doesn't drink.
You cheat. When you pretend you drink all the time.
Like when? Like recently?
Yes.
But like you, like for the past 10 years.
Wait, you're gonna have to tell me what I can't breathe. Like, what are you covering?
No, you're fine.
You're gonna leave my nose exposed.
I'm gonna cover your mouth at the end. So basically,
have you ever had anyone that you accidentally blocked off all their breathing ability?
I don't do that. No. I'm gonna put it on your lip. I'm gonna put it on your lips. Your lips are gonna look so great. They're gonna be so plumpy. Who needs filler? Here it is, baby. Relax now. You can't talk, so I'm gonna like do a little massage on you. Sandra, I'm actually really good at what I do. I'm giving you a massage. Is that tickles? It stays on for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Go to sleep. It's crazy how this whole thing started because I started, 2 years ago? Just kind of started by accident, started this business selling jelly mask, and then I've incorporated other esthetician supplies. But what I enjoy the most is going and doing demos because Raquel Aesthetics was inspired by esthetician students and really being able to give esthetician students the opportunity to get their hands on affordable, good quality product at a reasonable price. And as an esthetician student, you don't get that break that a licensed esthetician gets. So for me, that was my goal. And I go out and I say my story because my story is a little crazy. But then I found my passion and my calling, and I'm just starting this new journey, and I feel so youthful and I feel so complete, and Raquel Aesthetics has been so rewarding, and I'm having so much fun with it. And you have been such a great inspiration and support system, and I love you. And I get to torture her. Okay, so this is all done. This is the turmeric jelly mask, is our #1 seller, and this is just, look at this. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, your baby. Look at how moist that.
The bulk of what you do, you don't work in, haven't worked in spas. That's not your background.
Ever.
You only do the demos.
I only do the demos. I only go to.
That's awesome.
I go to different schools. I talk about my product.
They love her.
I talk about my story. Live this crazy life where I was tons of money, dependent on a man, had this whole cookie cutter life. But I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I think that just having my independence and my voice is so refreshing, and I feel like I have a second shot at life. I can restart my life, and I thought I was old and nobody would want me, and look at me, I'm with this guy who adores me. I'm able to start my own business on my own, and it's mine. Nobody's telling me what to do. It's crazy.
Well, I think one of the things you teach me most about life is really to do things for myself, though I don't do it so much, but you always tell me to take the time and smell the flowers. I think that she really, to sit back and really appreciate life and enjoy life.
And I think that even like my marriage and it wasn't always great, and I was married for 20 years, and anything in my life, I've always just made the best out of every situation. And I really think it's important to take care of myself. And because I took care of myself throughout those 20 years, I was a better mother. I was able to deal with whatever I was dealing with because I did take that time to, take care of myself, go to the gym, eat well. I was healthy inside, although emotionally I was going through so much, but I was strong and I was okay and able to keep going and find other things that made me happy. And you actually were a big part of that too, because I met you right in the middle of all of that, and having you in my life and seeing you how you're so independent, you have your own thing, you have a great marriage. You actually showed me being a
how to
healthy
actually
marriage.
work.
Well, she was one of the first persons I was like, why aren't you working? And I'm like, well, my husband works, and she was like, well, why don't you go work there? What do you do all day? You're always in at lunches and you're in Beverly Hills.
She was always just spending money.
Yeah. And actually Sandra was the one that was like, you need to get into the business. And that's when I started working for our business.
That was the beginning of the end.
That was the beginning of the end.
Have you checked out the All Access membership page? You can click here to check it out.